As a nation, firstly, we need to debunk the stigma around mental health challenges because each of us at one stage of our life would have faced a mental health challenge. And it's the degree to which we have dealt with it or faced it or have the issue that we need to address it.
That and more coming up in this half hour. Hi there, everyone. I am Adrian Atkinson, and you're tuned in to Jamaica Magazine. Don't move a muscle. See you on the other side of this announcement.
Keep that smile on their faces and preserve their innocence. Cherish the moments you have with them and create the best memories. Let's inspire our children to dream big and work hard to achieve all they aspire to be. Take the time to listen to our children and really hear their side of the story. Our children deserve love and the right to access their basic needs. Do your part and protect our children.
This Thursday, May 22, and every third Thursday in May is National Child and Adolescent Mental Awareness Day, a step on the journey to debunking the notion that the child should only be seen and not heard, giving our young people a safe space to express their feelings. In this week's Get the Facts, we explore more.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you information on what you need to know. More and more these days we hear about mental health, and that's a good thing. For far too long, this issue has been passed over and ignored. But sometimes when we talk about mental health, we tend to associate it mostly with adults, when children and young people also suffer. Now that's something the Ministry of Education is working to mitigate through the National Child Month Committee. And our guest today is Dr. Michelle Campbell, Communications and Liaison Director of the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Committee. She's also the first Vice Chair of the National Child Month Committee. And so, Dr. Campbell, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
First thing I want to know, what led to the decision to establish a Mental Awareness Day in Jamaica for children and adolescents?
We were, as a body and as practitioners and specialists, found that when we went into communities, into schools, and had conversation with parents and children alike, we were noting an increase in mental health challenges amongst our young people. We also noted that resources were not readily available, nor conversations being had with respect to these challenges. And we wanted to heighten awareness amongst our stakeholders, provide resources for our children and parents alike, and all persons who deal with our young people.
Right. So how did the month come into being itself?
We started conversations that led us to the Ministry of Education, the Youth Advocacy Arm, to the Ministry of Health through the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Division, and to the Governor General's Office.
Right.
His Excellency, Sir Patrick Allen, in 2017, established the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Awareness Day. We also partnered with the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Committee and also the National Child Month Committee, and forged a collaboration. So it now forms a part of the Child Month calendar, and hence the observation on May 22 this year.
Got it. You've mentioned resources being available, and I want to underline that at some point, but first and foremost, help us understand, what is it that children and adolescents are struggling with mental-wise?
So we hear that question asked often, because person will ask, what do children have to worry them?
Right.
What stresses do they have at this age of their lives? The first question, and what we would pose to persons who ask, is, do you think children are people too? And yes, they are people too.
Yes, they are.
And as a result of that, they too have age-appropriate challenges and struggles.
Right.
So we are seeing a number of our children expressing and experiencing stages and issues affecting who they're being, self-esteem issues.
Right.
We see them expressing challenges, handling and managing stress. We see them expressing forms and experiencing depression. and we are looking more at that. We have seen that coming more so on the onset of COVID-19, and persons might be saying COVID-19 has passed a number of years ago, but we're still dealing with the aftermath of this experience. So the isolation has brought about the depression and comparison when the onset of the social media being on the social media platform and the comparisons that our young people are being exposed to.
Man, Doc, you'll have to come back to talk about that comparison without context.
Yes.
But would you class the situation as serious?
It is. It is.
Children?
It is serious. So studies out of UNICEF and out of the Ministry of Health and also out of the Global Health School has shown and has revealed that our children are experiencing increased mental health challenges and increased mental health challenges that are going unaddressed. Why? Because there still lies a stigma around mental health issues. There still lies the tale of children should be seen and not heard. So children are oppressing these feelings. So the studies have shown in 2007 through the Global Health School that 1 in 4 child experiences mental health challenges.
1 in 4?
1 in 4. 1 in 4. Through the Ministry of Health, a survey also shows that 60% of the patients who are seen for mental health challenges and issues are under 24 years old.
Wow.
And 40% at times are amongst our young people. So it's an increasing challenge.
Wow. Wow. 1 in 4. I'm still stunned by that. That's a pretty...
And those are cases that are reported.
Right, that are reported. And you mentioned the stigma. So there perhaps are quite a few more that are not reported, that are self-diagnosing and being diagnosed by others. Just smile. Just where you go on so far.
Or what do you have to trouble you? You're a child.
You're a child.
That's correct.
Let's come to resources. What sort of resources are needed?
This question is so important because often we hear that resources aren't available, and they are resources available. The first thing we'd like to say is that persons should own that mental health challenge and mental health issues affect everyone. It's to the degree. So the resources that we have available, of course, is through the collaboration between the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Ministry of Education, Youth Skills and Information. And we have the Do Your Share campaign, which now goes into school and sensitize both teachers and children about mental health issues, providing resources through books, through videos, through conversations, through the wellness bench that they can use to speak to the issues, to treat with the issues, and know that it's okay if you do not feel okay, and to have conversations around it.
Wow.
That's one. In addition to that, we also have the Safe Spot, which is an initiative by the Office of the Children's Advocate, and young people can call in to the numbers associated with that, and you will get a professional counselor, psychologist to speak to with respect to your issues. Further, there is the You Matter hotline, which is available through the UNICEF, and our young people, again, can speak to that.
Call in.
And we have our guidance counselors within each school, and we have our guidance clinics within the communities that people can reach out to.
I want to talk a bit more about this, but we are at the moment of our break. We're talking about mental health issues among our children and youth, 1 in 4. When we come back, we'll take a look at how you can help. More after the break.
Money are your problem, car are your problem. Hey, whatever the problem is, just let it go, because stress is not a flex. A quick way to let go the stress is to find someone you can share your concerns with. And if you can't do that, then find other ways to release your stress, because stress is not a flex.
Welcome back. Dr. Michelle Campbell, Communications and Liaison Director of the National Child and Adolescent Mental Health Committee, is our guest this week, and she's sharing with us how we can aid in the mental well-being of our children and youth. Schools, churches, youth groups in communities, but of course, underlining this one in two strokes, parents. How can all these groups help to aid the mental health of our children?
So first, as a nation, we need to debunk the stigma around mental health issues and mental health challenges and have conversations to allow for persons to express how they feel. And that begins in the home.
Right.
So as parents, for us to listen, allow our children to express themselves in age-appropriate ways, respectfully so, and to also provide age-appropriate resources for them to aid with managing their emotions and feelings. If we do so in the homes, then we'll have more functional young people and by extension, a more functional people nation.
Jamaicans as a whole.
That's correct.
Right.
In addition, as a church, prayer is so important.
Yes.
It is important to seek intervention with respect to the challenges we have. Notwithstanding, getting resources, seeking intervention, putting our membership within the church in contact with the resources available to professionally address these issues, also important. Have the conversations within the church as well to sensitize your members about these issues. That is important. From a community level, there are the community guidance clinics within each community or within each parish. And people can get an opportunity or can take the opportunity to go to these clinics to get professional help. There are also your pastors within your communities and churches who are equipped to some extent to speak to the issues. Within the schools, there are the guidance counselors. There are teachers to equipped as a ministry. And when we speak of ministry, we're speaking to both ministries, the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Ministry of Education, to provide the resources to our teachers. And this has started and is continuing, so they can have those conversations, so they can equip not just the children, but also parents and other stakeholders, how to handle, how to address, how to treat with the issues, the mental health issues that are faced by our young people.
So, Dr. Campbell, beyond the third Thursday in May, which is the Awareness Day, right, every May, third Thursday, what's the long-term plans for the committee in terms of mental health awareness for the children?
To continue to sensitize, educate, and provide resources for our young people, for all stakeholders, as it relates to their mental well-being. To continue the partnership and the advocacy to ensure that we prioritize our mental health of our children, and also to invest. So that would require a partnership with other stakeholders, both locally and internationally, to provide even more resources that our teachers, that our children, that our parents can tap into. In addition to that, to continue to promote that our children's mental health is important, and there's no shame in having the conversation, to aid and to continue the advocacy that our children should be seen and heard, and in so doing, have an avenue in which they are able to, age appropriately so, responsibly so, express themselves.
I get the sense that you want to create an atmosphere where these things can be helped and dealt with, and we can all grow and recover beyond our challenges.
Oh, definitely. Because if we have healthy, happy young people, we'll have a more cohesive society of adults, because now we will be imparting in our young people how to handle conflicts, how to be able to express themselves through conversations. We are empowering them and providing them with skills to become more functional adults and thereby more functional society.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Campbell. I felt that one coming from the heart.
It is a
society.
passion.
It is a passion.
And it should be a passion for
For everyone.
everyone.
Right, right. You took aim at the children should be seen and not heard, but children should be seen and heard.
That's correct.
I realize that we're trying to revitalize or rebuild how children are treated in this country, and we're very appreciative of that work.
Thank you so much.
And this is where we end the program. You've heard the stats, you've heard the problems, you've heard what you can do. And so I hope you learned something. I hope you took it seriously. I hope you are planning to put your muscle into the fight to rolling back the stigma. Until next time, this has been Get the Facts. Do take care.
We continue now with part 3 of our 4-part series, My Mind and Me. In this installment, mental health advocate Cheryl Garrix-Lloyd looks at what it means to be mentally healthy.
Previously on My Mind and Me.
One of the other things that we may notice early would be withdrawal. You know, sometimes they stop responding to their phones, or they're not necessarily going out anymore, or they're staying in their rooms. The World Health Organization says a mentally healthy person accepts themselves with their strengths and their weaknesses. They can accept others for their strengths and weaknesses. They give back productively and fruitfully to their communities, and they are also able to deal with the daily challenges of life and have satisfaction from living. Those are the things that help you to determine if you're mentally healthy.
And in the same way we regard our physical health, the same approach is necessary to maintain mental health.
I have a phrase, there's no good health without good mental health. So our minds are what we use to solve problems, and this is where we are looking at. So if your mind isn't well, then physically you're also not going to be well. And sometimes we have mental challenges that manifest physically. So it's just as important when we look at overall health to make sure we include mental health.
There are some habits we must adopt to maintain mental well-being.
Stress management. What are the things that are a stressor to you? How can you respond better to them? How can you remove yourself from them, or how can you remove them from you? Flexibility is very important when it comes to your mental health. Self-care. When we talk about self-care, sometimes people think it's selfish. It's not selfish. You cannot pour from an empty cup. It's very real. So in order to give somebody the best of you, you have to make sure you take care of yourself. Other tips can include setting boundaries. So like work-life balance, when you go home, turn your phone off, don't check your emails. When you're at work, don't be doing personal things that get in the way sometimes, just boundaries. Learn how to say no is a very important one. I'm not saying being selfish, but the more you say yes, the less time you have for yourself and what you need to focus on. Recognize the different roles that you have. It's hard to be everything at the same time, and for some people they may disagree, but I believe in prioritizing and not balance. Balance indicates an evenness. You can't always balance everything, so you may have to prioritize in the moment. What is it that's most important? And I'd say the last one is learn to listen to your body and your mind. If it needs you to do something, do it before it forces you to do it. Like when you're too exhausted and it needs to rest, rest before it rests for you.
Mental health challenges are real, as are the stresses of life, and the two often collide, having persons mistaking one for the other.
Stress is a normal reaction. It depends on how the stress affects us, and we have different stages of stress, but what's important is the stress management. So when you determine my response to the stress, it's what you need to focus on. Am I able to come up with a plan A, B, and C and respond accordingly? Do I feel too overwhelmed to address it any at all? And or does it stop me from functioning? One of the things is that we encourage the persons who are struggling to ask for help. Asking for help can be simple things. What if you just need some time to get some extra sleep? Perhaps somebody can help you if you have children, for instance, to drop them off and you could sleep. It could be as simple as doing a meal prep and preparing several meals ahead of time so you don't need to cook every single day. But family and friends too, it's important to be observant, pay attention to what's happening. We find ourselves very busy and caught up, and know that technology allows us to check in. Sometimes we're not checking in at all. So I encourage checking in. I encourage being there to help in the way the person needs the help. Don't turn up to to do something that they didn't ask for, they may not need, and then you complain that they're ungrateful. So if they want to sleep, would you babysit or would you allow them to sleep? If they want to go watch a movie, would you still do the same thing and allow them to just go watch the movie? They just may need a minute. Are you able to follow them to see the therapist? Are you able to recommend that they go? Are you able to help them with medication if that's what they need? Are you able to just provide some groceries? Can you cook some meals and take them over?
And it is not enough to ask for help, but if you need to, get help.
There are mental health clinics in all our parishes. We have a suicide line and a mental health line at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and they also have an email address. We have Family Life Ministries that offers counseling. We have Rise Life, and they offer specific help for suicide and substance abuse. We have the women's centers who have opened places for women who are being abused. And we have UNICEF has a WhatsApp number that helps adolescents up to young adults. And the last thing that we've had, somebody in Jamaica has created an app called Let's Talk About It. I usually use the analogy of if your head hurts, you probably get some Panadols. And if it hurts you for too long, you'd more than likely see a medical practitioner. Or if you go home and you paid your JPS and your light is gone, you'll probably call an electrician. Our mind is what we use to solve problems, and if it's not working, we're not going to be able to respond appropriately. If you've tried and it hasn't worked, why would you not get some professional help to figure out what is it that you need to do and how best to move forward?
Next on My Mind and Me.
Coping mechanisms are not one size fits all. So maybe what works for somebody won't work for you, and nothing prevents you from trying. So think about the things that you'd like to get done. Get a massage, go to the beach, have a nature walk, talk to somebody, journal, pray, have devotion.
This Labor Day, let's grow something together. From May 15th through to the 30th, the Forestry Department will be having a Labor Day seedling distribution. Individual members of the public can collect up to 5 seedlings for free, including 1 fruit tree from the Forestry Department nursery while stocks last. Collect yours at the agency's head office in St. Andrew or its locations at Williamsfield in Manchester and Monique St. Anne. You can also purchase a selection of potted plants and other seedlings, including ornamental fruit and timber. Distribution will take place Mondays to Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. On May 22, seedlings and potted plants can be collected from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be no distribution on Labor Day, Friday, May 23. For more information, visit the Forestry Department website at forestry.gov.jm, call 876-618-3205, WhatsApp 876-995-8521, or email the department at fdinfo@forestry.gov.jm.
Story to tell you. It might hurt your feelings a bit. Last night as I walk in my bathroom, I stepped in a big pile of shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always be clean. I think I'll break up with my daughter. Her antiques are queer, I'll admit. Each time I say, darling, I love you, she tells me that I'm full of shaving cream. Be nice and clean, shave every day and you'll always be clean. No Now every country say them have nice woman, but some not so nice, you must understand. Well, Jamaican woman a sugar and salt, and I man we tell you about them all. Jamaican woman a sugar and salt. Some of them are general and we make you ball. Jamaican woman a sugar and salt. Some of them are general and we make you ball. St. Andrew woman no make them fun. Leave them alone and them we make you run. St. Thomas woman is very kind. As you wink your eye, them broke a line. Portland woman can sport for true. Treat them good and them will die for you. Jamaican woman a sugar and salt. Some of them are general and we make you bad. Jamaican woman a sugar and salt. Some of them are general and we make you bad. St. Mary woman them nice alright, but them love them man and them quick for fight. St. Anna woman them have a good ways, but if you trouble them and them will give you 9 years. Trelawney woman is a serious lot, and when you need a friend them always one spot. Jamaican woman a sugar and salt. Some of them are general and we make you bad. Jamaican woman a sugar and salt. Some of them are general and we make you bad. Now this one is for all the ladies. Love. They are asking for my lady. They are asking for my baby. Please, I'm asking for love. Somewhere in my youth, I must have done something to earn some love. Now I'm also cold and lonely. I need someone to love and hold me. Please, I'm asking for love. Na 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 na. Lots of things I wish would go my way, but love is what I really need. I must have earned some blessings that could last. Keep me landing tears like showers. Keep me shedding tears like showers. Please, I'm asking for love. Na 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 na. All the flag in the air like so. All the flags in the air like so. Let me see the flag. Let me see it. Hey. This one you got. Say, all night party. All night party. All night party. All night party. Everybody say, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. This is an all-night party. Everybody jumping. All-night party. Everybody rapping. All-night party. Everybody skanking. All-night party. Go.
We have come to the end of today's show, and I leave you with this quote. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. To catch a repeat of this or any other, feel free to log on to our website, jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.